Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I am your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today is a dominant receiver from one of the most dominant passing offenses in the entire NCAA this past season from the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, where they were lighting it up all across any
Yes.
defense that they were going against, from beating Stanford in week one to a bowl game win over California, with that game-winning touchdown coming from this man right here, 6'1" wide receiver, Nick Cenacle. What's going on, man?
I'm good. How are you? Sheesh, my bad. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Excited to get you
Yeah.
back on. See the smile on your face. We're excited to get you back on the podcast once again to talk about your season. Had you on last
Mm.
year to talk about 2024, where you guys lit it up. Had a little couple hiccups in the road and managed to fix those things in 2025, where you guys were able to dominate left and right, be one of the top teams in the Mountain West. And I want fans,
Yeah.
viewers that are just now getting to learn your name to get to learn the resume to your name in a quick segment that I like to call Resume Rundown. Going to show off a nice little
That's true.
graphic here, show off what you've been able to do. In the past couple of years, you've been part of one of the best passing offenses in the entire country, let alone the Mountain
Hmm.
West, where in 2025, you guys were number one in the Mountain West. Whole lot of
Yeah.
talented receivers. And you guys ended up going to the Hawaii Bowl, ended up hosting it pretty much, obviously being in Hawaii, and took on
Yeah.
California, held up a trophy to end up to finalize your collegiate career. So obviously,
Hmm.
every player dreams of holding up a trophy, whether that's a conference championship or even just a bowl game trophy. You were able to end your career with a win. And you were coming
Yeah.
off of that 2024 season where you guys were third best in passing in the Mountain West. So already
Yeah.
high level. You had Pofell, obviously, and then you guys brought in a very talented receiver in Jackson Harris, which I believe he
Yeah.
came from Stanford. And you guys
Yeah.
were able to just take that next gear. Your guys' is quarterback, very talented as well throughout the season. Talk to me real
Hmm.
quick as one of these returning receivers coming from that dominant offense a year ago. How would you say you guys were able to become number one this past season and take that next step further?
Honestly, it just came up from mindset. We had a goal in mind throughout the year, and the goal was to get to the Mountain West Championship. We fell short of that, but that was the whole mindset throughout the whole year. It's just like it's about us. We're gonna go as far as we take ourselves and stuff like that. And that whole stretch, spring camp, fall camp, everything like we really bought into that, and we're just working nonstop. And like with the additions of Jackson Harris, the Brandon Whites, and even the core of guys that were there right now with Pofele and to Tama and Blaze, those young guys too, and those freshmen. We just all bought in and we just all worked each other. Like we just all made each other better. So that was really that made the fact that we were able to be successful this year. So yeah,
Mhm. Hey, I mean, number one in the Mountain West is no joke. Eighth most in the entire NCAA in passing yards per
yeah,
game. That's how good you
yeah,
guys were. Top 10 up there with, Indiana, Oregon, some of these guys that went to the, national playoffs, and you guys were right there with the best of the best. And this
hmm,
culture for Hawaii, you've been able to see it grow and develop since coming in with the Rainbow Warriors. I believe back in 2022 was your first season
yeah,
with them
yeah,
at least seeing the field. And I mean, a year ago, you guys went 5-7, had those hiccups in the road.
yeah,
You guys this season went 9-4, 5-3 in that tough Mountain West Conference, beating Stanford in week one, 23-20, beat a very
hmm,
talented Utah State team, 44-26, and then San Diego State, 38-6. So able to put points on
yeah,
the board left and right against whoever you guys went against. As a guy that's been
hmm,
there for the past couple of years, basically since this head coach came in and joined the program to lead them to obviously to where you guys are now. How would you say this
yeah.
culture has shifted to become this winning program?
We really just all matured. I think Hawaii's was the school with the most guys retained, through this new day and age with the transportal and everything like that. So like we really, as we grew, as we matured through the same coaching staff and throughout the years, we just stayed as a group and we stayed connected. We didn't have to re gain this new knowledge of culture, like this new culture throughout the years. I'm sure many of these other schools do with all these transfer portal guys. So we just stayed together as a group and as a brotherhood, and we grew together, and we just were able to to go out there and just play to our highest potential and have everybody on the same page. So that was probably the best thing that made us be successful this past year.
Hey, there you go, man. Obviously, you guys
Yeah.
were able to do that from week one with that Stanford win, as we mentioned a couple times already, 23-20 win to open the season. I was watching that game. I had to stay up late because at the time I
Yeah,
believe I
no,
was
for
still on the
sure.
East Coast. I'm in
Yeah.
Central Time now, but man, I was up late,
Yeah.
but I was cheering you guys on all the way. Very excited for you to get that. And I believe
Okay.
Jackson Harris, that was his former team. So
Yeah,
great win for
that
him
was
there.
huge. That
And
was huge. That was
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it was huge for all of you guys, especially him,
yeah,
right? Bragging rights over
yeah,
some of his former teammates. But that really
exactly.
set the tone for you guys throughout the season. I mean, your guys' quarterback had a fantastic game, and you guys, I believe,
Mhm.
played Arizona the following week, where that was
Yeah,
another little bump in the road. Obviously, a very talented Big 12 opponent, but then bounced
yeah,
back and had a win over, I believe it was Sam Houston and a couple of other talented teams, to where you guys went on this run and showed everyone why you guys were one of the best offenses overall in the entire country. How would you say
yeah.
that week one win really set the tone for you guys offensively the rest of the year?
Honestly, that week one win really just gave us the confidence that we could do it. We always felt short. We felt short the past couple of years of like winning against these big schools. Vanderbilt, I think the year before we went to overtime, we lost in overtime to them. And even UCLA, we lost by like maybe a touchdown, I believe, or 3 points. So we always came close to beating these big teams, but we always fell short. So this like coming first game of the season, having that game as like our the starting point, and really that just catapulted us for the rest of the season. Honestly, we just all right, perfect. We're for real this year. We're not gonna fall short no more. So we all had that mindset, and we came back, and as you see, we really just dominated after that.
Hey, there you go. And you yourself, you were able to once again put up some big time highlights throughout the season when you were able to get on the field and get those reps.
Hmm.
You made good on them. Had a couple of
Yeah.
touchdowns, had a couple of big time long bomb throws your way. You made good on, got some yardage for your team. And I want to show some of them off in a segment that we got to do last year that we're going to do once again called Make That
Okay.
Play, where I put together a list of what I felt like were your top three plays from this past season. But as you know,
Yeah.
I'm just a stats guy. I'm just a fan in the stands. You're the one on
Yeah.
the field doing what you do best. So, what would you say was your best play this past season?
Ooh, best play this past season. Honestly, my favorite play of this past season is really just coming like going on the field my first play from back from injury, coming back from injury and doing that. My first play was a big catch. It was like the first play of the drive against Utah State, and like the first play goes like 20 yards, a corner route to me, and I was just like, I'm back. I'm back in my groove. Like the first play, I've been out for this many weeks. I just come back and have a explosive right off the bat. So that was my favorite play, honestly. But I can't discredit the Cal play too. That is a play that's gonna go down for honestly. I'm gonna be telling that story for ages. Honestly, like that's the perfect way to end a career. I've been out majority of the season, really couldn't really help my contribute in the ways I wanted to, and then in the season, so coming back from that and like scoring that game winning touchdown in the bowl game, that was it was a different type of feeling, honestly. And that's definitely my. I feel like that would probably be my top play too. So yeah, it'd be between those two plays, honestly. But that was
Hey,
good.
I don't blame you there. And it's funny enough that you mentioned that because both of those are in my top three as well. And
Let's
that
go.
Utah State one is at number three because, like you said,
Okay.
first play back, not
Yeah.
just first game back. It was the first
Yeah.
play
First
of
play.
the
Yeah.
game against Utah State. And it was your first time seeing the field since coming back from
Yeah.
injury. And what do? You go off and you get a 26-yard reception to move your team
Yeah.
down the field where I mean, you got right past the cornerback, boom, big time catch there, move down the
Yeah.
field. Number two was your 18-yard touchdown against Colorado State, where you had a
Yeah.
nice little move right off the line of scrimmage, got into open space.
Yeah.
Apparently, the defense forgot that you were there because they did not
Completely. Yeah.
open
Literally.
space for, I believe it was 18 yards for a nice little touchdown against Colorado State there going against the
Hmm.
Rams. And then number one, absolutely had to put the game winner against
Yeah.
California. 22-yard receiving touchdown. And what was even crazier about that play was you guys brought in your other quarterback for
Quarterback.
that
Yeah.
long bomb, and you ended up beating the corner off rip to get past him. And with the safety coming over right on top of you, you held your focus, did what you do best, and you got that ball in the front of the end zone, went in for a touchdown game winner against California to wrap your career up with a bowl game win. So those are
Yeah.
your top three players from this past season, just in my opinion. And I mean, this season overall it was crazy for you because obviously you mentioned you had that injury and you were trying to
Yeah,
battle back through that, get back onto the field because you know that this is your last year with the
yeah,
Rainbow Warriors. And you were able to come back and make that contribution. Those last couple of games, you were able to get back into being in that receiver core where, with Puffell and Jackson, who they held down the fort for a while, you were able to come back in and help out as that dominant option in that three-headed monster.
yeah.
Talk real quick about fighting through that injury, fighting to get back on the field, both mentally and physically, and how you were able to handle that.
Honestly, it was really great. I really give that credit to my teammates, like actually Buffets and Jackson, stuff like that. Jackson was actually my roommate in Hawaii. So like we'd always be with them, and those guys just made sure that I was always like, engaged, like just like, like just gave me that confidence, like it's gonna be good, you're gonna come back and you're gonna be yourself again, and I was like, yeah, thank you guys. And just, having these guys knowing that they had my back, and like I really just poured it all into them. I was at every practice. I never like missed a practice and stuff like that. I was there helping them, and I was either on the sideline getting better, working on my knee, and if I wasn't there, right after that, I was working with them in Indy and all the different like Pasha and stuff like that, like Skelly and all that stuff and team where I was with them. I was creating hype. I was trying to bring the energy. I was correcting like the little mistakes probably the younger guys were making, and even helping the older guys with their stuff. So honestly, it was just like everybody really just helped me gain confidence in myself, and everybody just told me like it's gonna be good and I was gonna come back and be myself again. So that was really comforting, honestly, having that brotherhood connection with everybody. That was comforting.
Hey, there you go, man. And obviously, they all knew what you could do when you were on the field, when you were 100%. And
Yeah.
I mean, you were a part of that main receiving core group back in 2024, where you guys were still
Hmm.
one of the best in the Mountain West back then. And obviously,
Yeah.
this year, you missed some games and you're coming back. And obviously, there's a rapport between Puffell, Jackson, and your guys' starting QB to
Hmm.
where, that he's used to those two as those main receivers. You come back and
Yeah.
you're looking to, hey, I'm here. I got you. I know I've been gone for a while,
Yeah.
but I'm back and I'm ready to get these throws my way. How did you work your way back into being one of those main options there towards the end of the season?
I really just stayed the course, honestly. I really just put extra work in. Even the offseason, I was always catching extra balls with those guys and working on routes. And this, so I never deviated from it. I got injured. I was like, all right, these are the cards I'm dealt with. How do you get out of it? And that's what I did. I made sure I was ready when I was going to come back. My coaches told me like, once you're good, like you're going to be playing. So I'm like, all right, perfect. Like I'm gonna make sure I'm ready when my time comes. And that's exactly what I did. And exactly, I was able to benefit from that. Staying ready was huge for me for sure.
Yeah, stayed ready and obviously made an impact there. And on the season as a whole, you still put up over 200 receiving yards, 223 total to be exact. You had
Mm.
the pair of touchdowns, the one against Colorado State, and then obviously the game winner against California.
Yeah,
Actually averaged 8 yards per reception on the season. So still
yeah,
managing to get downfield for your team, get them
yeah,
that first down yardage and even further. Going against Colorado State, besides that one touchdown you had, you also had 70 total yards. And then
yeah.
California, final game, you had 60 yards and that tutty there too. So able to
Hmm.
come out and perform at a high level. And you're a veteran leader for this group. I mentioned before, obviously, you've been there since 2022 to where you've learned the system. You're giving advice to
Yeah.
these younger players, as you mentioned during practice. Talking real
Hmm.
quick about some of the advice that you've given to some of these younger players, even when you weren't on the field, when you were, not getting the same amount of targets, how are you still
Yeah.
finding ways to help out your team?
More so just giving those younger players the confidence. A lot of the players I recruited, the Kai Kais, the Titan, the Blaze, the Thomas, those guys performed at high levels, like in their high school careers and stuff like that, and we're performing at high levels in practice. So really, just giving the confidence, like you guys could do this in game. Like you guys have it. I felt like the way they got the offense right off. Very fast, the running shoes, stuff like that. They got it really fast. So I was like, all right, like you guys have all the tools really just so you guys had all the tools. So I was really giving them confidence and letting them know that you guys can make those plays that you guys made before. So yeah, that's pretty much how I was helping them.
Hey, there you go, man. Always trying to find a way to help out your team. And we've talked about this game a bunch already, but I want to talk about it specifically now because it was the last game of your career, the California game, beating
Yeah.
them. getting that win, holding up a trophy, that's huge for you. And you were able
Yeah,
to go out in the best way possible, as you mentioned before, with that touchdown. Talk to me real quick about the Hawaii Bowl and what that meant for you to wrap up your collegiate career, going into your pro career here soon, and
yeah.
just with arguably one of your best games of your career.
Yeah, honestly, it meant everything to us. We fell short of our goal of winning the Mountain West Championships, but we knew like the bowl game that was like the next best thing to do. Like this was our championship at that point. We thought that Cal being a power four opponent and everything like that. We know we weren't favored and everything like that. So it was like let's prove ourselves. This is the last one. Let's prove ourselves. Like we really are the team we said we are. So going out and winning that game after being down 21-0 at halftime, like it's something that it's legendary. It's like it's gonna be crazy. And like having led all these guys for 4 years, and we like that or my last year being the one we win the championship, and the way I went out, like that meant a lot too. So yeah, that was a game for the ages for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Rightfully so. And I know your teammates were very happy for you. And I know you're
Mhm.
big on hyping up your teammates. You mentioned before how you were hyping them up at practice, being on the
Yeah,
sideline, doing whatever you could. And I want to give you a chance once again to shout out some of your teammates in this segment we're
yeah,
about to get into called Who's Up Next, where once again you can recommend some guys that I can have on the podcast, get them on to tell their story, talk about their careers, past,
yeah.
present, and future. Once again on the podcast. So who would you say is next up on the Slim Sports podcast?
I'd say my boy Nick Dagadio and my other friend Kai Kai too. Those are one of them is slot, the other one's a wideout, and those guys are putting in the work, and I think they're gonna have big numbers this year. So for sure, keep an eye out for them.
Hey, you can already tell you're a pro with the podcast because you had those ready to go. You were ready for that segment there. Love those segments for who's up next. And now that we talked about who's up next, definitely got to talk about what's next for yourself heading into the
Mhm.
pro career. Getting ready
Yeah,
for, the hopefully the NFL level here soon. If not,
yeah.
the CFL or the UFL, whatever is next for you. You're looking to make some money to your name and continue to show people why you are this dominant receiver. Talk to me real quick about how
Mhm.
you're really attacking this offseason to get your name out there even further to where you can go
Yeah.
off and make this money.
I'm really just focusing on getting my body right. That was the main focus, make sure everything's good. No more like nicks and bruises and stuff like that. So I'm just been training. I've been training a Steady Performance up at Pittsburgh, and yeah, I'm getting in the best shape of my life, honestly. So that's how I'm gonna get ready for the next level for sure.
Hey, there you go, man. I definitely cannot wait to see you getting some game-winning touchdowns in the pros. No doubt in my mind,
Yeah,
that is what the future holds for you, man. Always
that's
one of the
cool.
most positive energies that I get to have on the podcast,
Yeah,
not just last year and this year, but hopefully in future years moving forward, you will always have a spot with this podcast to hop on and talk about your career, talk about your story, man. Beyond blessed to be able
yes,
to
sir.
see the growth that you've made already and can't wait to see what the future holds for you, man. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to once again hop on the Slim Sports podcast.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you so much.